I've been working at this pizza place for several days now, but this is the first time I've had an order for delivery outside the store at 6:30 a.m. I showered, washing off the grime and dirt clinging to me, and sank into the bathtub, thinking about what happened last night. I didn't think it was much of a victory, except for the beautiful diamond ring Jackie gave me. After a little research, I think it's probably a VVS 1 grade. It's tiny, but it's pretty. I decided it wouldn't be good to sell it, so I'll wear it to work. If it were you, you wouldn't want to leave its owner, I suppose, locked up in a room. Of course, after showering, I cooked breakfast, ate, and turned on my favorite anime that I was watching yesterday. The anime was getting good, but it was interrupted by a knock on my door. Coming. Just a moment. I answered before thinking, what's going on this early? I'm trying to relax. I walked to the door, but before opening it, I peered through the peephole for safety. Last night made me paranoid. I looked through, but didn't see anything. Then the knocking came again, harder this time. I carefully opened the door a crack and saw a small, black pair of shoes positioned under the peephole. That's why I didn't see anything at first. A girl with glasses and blue twintails held a piece of paper. Hello, I'm in Lord. The girl in front of me introduced herself, handing me the paper she was holding. At first, I had my hands behind my back, so I didn't see the paper. Her voice sounded cheerful, and she had a cute smile, but for some reason, I felt flushed. The paper read, to the person in VS Marquez, you have violated the government's rule number 1, you must not make noise after sunset until the next morning, as some residents need rest and do not like noise. This is the first warning. If this happens a second time, we will no longer guarantee your safety. Signed, in Lord. I took the warning paper inside. Her last name sounded familiar. If I hadn't returned late, who knows what would have happened. I didn't think too much about it and put the warning in my bedside table drawer. I closed my eyes and fell asleep. The alarm clock rang, telling me it was 9:30 a.m. I got out of bed, gathered my things, and headed for a relaxing bath. The alarm went off again, reminding me of the time. I got out of the tub, dried myself, got dressed for work, and grabbed 2 pieces of candy I had to give to the 2 siblings. At 10 p.m., I took my trusty Batman motorcycle to the restaurant's parking lot and walked to the employee entrance. I knocked 3 times. The door opened, revealing Shiro with her fiery red hair blowing in the wind. A scent like sunflowers emanated from her. Everyone in this restaurant has such a unique fragrance, I thought to myself as I walked to room number 3 to sign in, as per the restaurant rules. It seems I'm the first one here, not counting Ivy, who always arrives before anyone else. I pictured the 2 siblings, Shiro and Ivy, and smiled, imagining their reactions to the candy. I walked to the employee changing room and waited for the others to arrive. It didn't take long for both of them to enter. Their combined fragrance was enchanting. I closed my eyes, inhaling the mysterious scent. It made me feel inexplicably good. Thank you for the magical candy. It's always so sweet to hear your voice, Ivy said, her voice soft and gentle. Thank you, they both said simultaneously. Ivy smiled, her face radiant. Shiro nodded politely. It's almost time for my shift. I'll go to the counter, Shiro said. Her long, black hair swayed as she moved. I felt a sudden surge of excitement, my hands trembling slightly as I handed them the candy. Thank you so much, both of their voices chimed together. One beamed, her face seeming to bloom with 1,000 flower petals, while the other offered a polite nod. You're welcome, I replied, my voice a little shaky. I suddenly snapped out of my reverie when I heard PC's voice. She was standing right in front of me. I was a bit too excited, my hands trembling, but I managed to give them the candy. Shiro still looks great, I thought, wondering why I felt as nervous as someone about to confess their love. I quickly stood up to open the door, but before I could reach the handle, someone opened it from the other side. The door swung open to reveal Ms. Rata. "Hello everyone," she greeted. "Hello," we all replied in unison. "I have something to tell you, Ivy." "You don't need to be at the counter today," she said, handing me some documents. "What's this?" I asked, puzzled. "You have a delivery today, Ivy. I brought the documents for you to review. They contain the customer's name and information. Please familiarize yourself with them," she explained. "Okay," I replied. After she left, Shiro and Ivy walked to the counter. I was left alone with the mysterious papers. The document outlined delivery procedures. Rule 1: Always use the employee entrance and exit, to avoid unnecessary encounters with them. Rule 2: After starting your shift, you don't need to knock 3 times. Rule 3: Always knock 3 times before opening any door during a delivery. This is for your safety, as they sometimes mimic people to gain entry. Rule 4: Double-check the order against the customer information provided. These customers have unique rules. Rule 5: Carry essential equipment, a flashlight, some of them are shadows and fear light, fresh pig's blood, to distract them, wet cat food, to appease the 2-colored-eyed black cat guardian, and a special gun, to temporarily dispel them. Rule 6: There are a maximum of 2 orders per day. Rule 7: Complete all deliveries before 2:30 a.m. It's not safe outside after that. Stay at the customer's location if necessary. Rule 8: If you stay at the restaurant, follow restaurant rules. Signed, Lada Shart. The last name, Shart, reminded me of the warning from in La Charlord. They must be sisters, I thought. But I pushed the thought aside, focusing on today's customer information. The order details were as follows. Customer, Grandma Bess. Address, 1/3 Pracha Village. Order, blood feast pizza with extra ham, 2 slices, blood-soaked chicken, 7 pieces, 2 Korat sodas, 16 ounces, total, 12.90 baht. The next page detailed the rules for delivering to Grandma Bess. Rule 1: Knock gently on the front door. Grandma Bess has exceptional hearing. Rule 2: Bring 2 pieces of ham. If the order is late, Grandma Bess gets hangry, and her eyes turn red. Toss her a piece of ham to calm her down. Rule 3: Be polite. Grandma Bess dislikes rudeness. Apologize immediately for any transgression. Rule 4: If invited to dine, accept. Knock gently on her chair, say, "Excuse me, sit," take 1 food item, preferably a cookie, sip the tea, thank her, and leave. Rule 5: Always reply with, "It's alright," unless something extraordinary occurs. Rule 6: Grandma Bess always pays the exact amount. Collect whatever she offers. Special circumstances: if something unusual happens while at Grandma Bess's, ask to use the basement. Choose a bed or large cabinet in room 25 to wait until things calm down. Thank Grandma Bess and leave. After reading, I rubbed my eyes. This was harder than working in the restaurant. I was just getting used to things inside, and now they're sending me out. I had no choice but to gather the listed items. First, the insulated bag for the order. Jarvis, the cook, must have known about the special order because I could hear him preparing it. I waited, and soon the order appeared through the usual slot. I collected the order, my mind racing with thoughts of Grandma Bess. I grabbed the 2 pieces of ham, the cat food, flashlight, and put them in my cat-patterned waist bag. I almost forgot the most important thing, the gun. I wasn't even sure how to use it, having never seen a real gun before. My hands trembled as I loaded it. After preparing everything, I secured the bag to my Batman and started the engine. The distance to Pracha village didn't seem far. I drove cautiously, observing my surroundings. "50 meters, turn left," the GPS instructed. I followed its directions. The city lights gradually faded, replaced by trees and the GPS voice. "50 meters, turn left," it repeated. The sound of snapping twigs under my tires, shadowy figures, howling dogs, and soft laughter filled the air. I realized I was in the wrong place. I tried to turn off the GPS, but it wouldn't shut down. I ignored it, trying to retrace my route. "50 meters, turn left," the GPS insisted. I continued straight, but the familiar route remained elusive. The laughter persisted, the GPS voice distorting. My headlights flickered and died. Shadowy figures approached from the roadside. "50 meters, turn left," the demonic GPS chanted. Panic welled within me. Shadowy figures shouted, their footsteps closing in. I slowed down, fumbling for the flashlight. My hands shook, the flickering light making the scene even more terrifying. I remembered the pig's blood, but I hadn't grabbed it, preoccupied with thoughts of Grandma Bess and fear. Despair washed over me. Why run? There's no escape. Cynthia's face flashed before my eyes. "I'm sorry I'm not strong enough," I whispered, exhausted. The motorcycle slowed to a near stop. A clear chime and a meow pierced the darkness. A black cat with two different colored eyes sat calmly under a large tree. I parked and rushed towards it, placing the wet cat food on a leaf. Light flooded back into the world. The black cat ate contentedly, then walked towards me, its bushy tail swaying. It rubbed against my leg before hopping onto the motorcycle. It was coming with me. I rode on, the eerie darkness receding, replaced by buildings and city lights. I was free. I patted the cat's head in gratitude before it leaped off and vanished. I accelerated, realizing I was late. Hopefully, Grandma Bess wouldn't turn me into her next meal. I asked for directions instead of relying on the possessed GPS. I stopped at a food stall. "Excuse me, sir, can I ask for directions?" "Where to, young man?" the vendor replied cheerfully. "Pracha village," I answered. He paused. "Are you sure you want to go there?" "Yes, sir." "I have a delivery," I insisted. He gave me directions. "Be safe, son." "Be safe?" His words fueled my apprehension. I knew something was wrong with that village. A clock chimed, signaling midnight. I sped up, finally reaching the village entrance. A large sign proclaimed, "Pracha Village." I approached the security gate. "First time here," I said to the guard, handing him my ID. He returned with a visitor pass and a piece of paper. I knew what it meant, more rules. "Don't let it be what I think," I muttered, taking the pass and paper. My stomach growled. "Please read this before entering," the guard urged, his voice laced with urgency. I had to comply. The paper detailed the village rules. Rule 1, speed limit is 30 kilometers per hour. The village owner dislikes speeding. Rule 2, slow down for speed bumps. They dislike being bumped and might transform into hazards. Rule 3, if a large, crippled horse blocks the road, offer it food. Rule 4, declare any blood-containing food items to security. Some residents react strongly to blood. Rule 5, stay inside the customer's house if it's past 2:30 a.m. It's too dangerous outside. Return after 3 a.m. Rule 6, there are no patrols except at the front gate. If you see anyone claiming to be security, flee to the front gate. Not all residents are friendly. Some might prefer to see you harmed. I returned the paper and asked, "Can I go now?" "Which address?" he inquired quickly. 1/3, I replied. "Wait," he said, retrieving another paper. "One more thing." I groaned inwardly. It was already 1:45 a.m. The final set of rules concerned Lane 3. Rule 1, wave at house 3 of 3. The owner, Martha, is friendly and can offer assistance. She likes flowers and cake. Rule 2, don't leave your vehicle unattended. Some entities steal from delivery drivers. Rule 3, be careful around house 7/3. The plants are sentient and mischievous. Rule 4, avoid house 9/3 if possible. The owner is unfriendly and powerful. Martha can't help you there. I returned the paper and finally entered the village. Time seemed to slow down. I tried accelerating, but the motorcycle wouldn't go past 30 km/h. I followed the signs, carefully navigating the speed bumps. I encountered the large horse, offering it a spare battery for my gun, which it swallowed whole. It lumbered away. Finally, I reached 1/3, a pearly white house with a red roof. I parked, grabbed the order and ham, and knocked gently. Heavy footsteps descended from the second floor. The door creaked open, revealing an elderly woman with wrinkled skin and red, hungry eyes. I instinctively tossed her a piece of ham. She devoured it greedily. Her eyes returned to a dull green as she smiled. Sorry for the delay, I apologized. It's all right. Be quicker next time, she said, her voice raspy. That's 12.90 baht. I watched in horror as she pulled 3 golden molars from her mouth and all 10 fingernails from her hands, offering them to me. I forced a smile. Thank you, I said, accepting the gruesome payment. You're welcome, she replied, turning to go inside. I checked the time, 2:15 a.m. Grandma Bess, I called, may I wait inside for a while? It's not safe outside. Come in, she offered. Perhaps she knew about the rules. The inside of her house was like a dungeon, with monstrous creatures caged in the center and a large black cauldron. I spotted stairs leading to the basement. A dining table and black chairs added to the unsettling atmosphere. Grandma Bess invited me to join her for dinner, as the rules dictated. Thank you. Excuse me, I said, carefully sitting down. Noises erupted outside, like a zombie apocalypse. I grabbed a cookie, sipped the tea, and stood up. Thank you for the meal, I said politely, rushing outside to check on my motorcycle. A shadowy figure was trying to steal my insulated bag. You won't win, a voice warned. I hesitated. Perhaps I should heed the warning. I turned back. Grandma Bess explained about spirits, mid-level entities with unique characteristics and minions, identifiable by their red eyes. She warned about 2:35 a.m. As I left, shadowy figures, some corporeal, some like smoke, rushed towards me. A 3-eyed spirit with glowing red eyes commanded them. I fired the gun. The shots had an effect, dissipating the shadowy figures, but they would regenerate. I fought my way back to the motorcycle, firing continuously. I almost reached it when the 3-eyed spirit grabbed me by the throat, slamming me against the steps. Pain shot through my body as I felt my ribs crack. Numbness followed. I tried to get up, but the spirit lifted me by my broken arm. Agony surged through me. I screamed, unable to resist. The gun fell from my grasp. Did you really think you could defeat me? The spirit mocked. It toyed with me like a doll. My alarm rang, 3 a.m. The last thing I saw was the spirit's head exploding at the hands of an elderly woman, and a young man in a security uniform rushing towards me. What happened? He asked. That's the story of Ivy. He survived thanks to Grandma Bess and the security guard. What would have happened if they hadn't arrived in time? We'll never know. Where will Ivy's next delivery take him? Find out in the next episode. Thanks to the writer, Dok Fukin Srichat, for this exciting story. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe. What will the next story be about? Stay tuned. Goodbye.